They called me a disgrace, an embarrassment to my daughter, a nobody who ruined everything. But what they didn't know is that the person I stopped to help on the road that day was sent to save my life and destroy theirs. My name is Clara Hughes. I'm 56 years old. I'm a widow. I lost my husband in a car accident many years ago. He died on a rainy Tuesday morning on his way to work. One minute he was here and the next he was gone. After he died, it was just me and my little girl, Lily. We didn't have much, but we had each other. I worked hard, very hard. I cleaned offices during the day and scrubbed floors at night. Some days I only slept for 2 hours. My hands always smelled like bleach, and my feet were always sore. But I didn't mind. I was doing it all for her. My Lily. I made sure she had lunch for school, clean clothes, and the best I could give, even if it meant I wore the same old coat every winter. When she got into college, I cried for a full hour. She was the first in our family to ever go. I picked up more jobs just to help pay for her books and bus fares. And when she told me she met someone rich, I thought maybe, just maybe, her life would finally be easier. His name was Damien Sterling. Yes, those Sterlings. Big mansions. Fancy cars. They own hotels, shops, even the big buildings downtown with their name on it. His parents, Martin and Celeste Sterling, are known all over the city. They wear sunglasses indoors and never smile without a reason. When Lily told me they were getting engaged, I was happy. And nervous. Very nervous. Then she said it. "They want to meet you, Mom. But please, please don't embarrass me. Please." It hurt. But I understood. "I'll do my best," I said softly. "They're having a brunch this Sunday," she added. "It's at their estate. Very formal. Don't be late. And dress nice, okay?" I smiled and nodded. But deep inside I panicked. I didn't have anything nice. That whole week I prayed. I didn't have money for new clothes, so I asked a kind lady from church if I could borrow something. She gave me a beige suit. It was a little loose on me, but it was clean and better than anything I owned. I washed my hair the night before and rolled it with empty soda cans so it would curl. I polished my old shoes until they looked shiny, even though the soles were wearing off. I packed tissues in my purse to dab my face in case I got too sweaty from nerves. On Sunday morning I got up early, before the sun even came up. I looked at myself in the mirror and whispered, "You can do this, Clara." For Lily. I took the bus, 3 different ones to be exact. Their estate was far away, on the rich side of town where the roads were smooth and the houses looked like castles. Kept checking the time on my phone. I was running ahead of schedule. My stomach was tight with worry. What would I say? What if I said the wrong thing? What if they didn't like me? I wasn't like them. I didn't have silk scarves or shiny heels. I didn't drink wine or eat food I couldn't pronounce. I was just me, Clara, a cleaning lady with calloused hands and a big heart. But Lily was my only child, and I didn't want to mess this up. I finally got off at the last bus stop and started walking the short road that led to the Sterling estate. I had about 20 minutes left before brunch started. That's when something happened. I saw a man. He was sitting on the side of the road near the bushes. His clothes were torn, his face was dirty, and one of his feet was bleeding. He looked like he hadn't eaten in days. People were walking by. Joggers, fancy drivers, couples with little dogs, and no one looked at him. But he looked at me. He didn't say anything. Just stared like he'd been waiting for someone to notice him. I stopped walking. My heart started to beat fast. I looked at the time. I still had 15 minutes. If I left now, I'd still make it. But I couldn't move. There was something in his eyes. Something broken. Something familiar. It reminded me of the look I had the night my husband died. I took a step toward him. Then another. My heels sank a little in the soft grass, but I didn't care. "Sir," I said gently. "Are you okay?" He didn't speak. I knelt down, ignoring the sting in my knees, and pulled the tissues out of my bag. I handed him one and offered the bottle of water I brought for myself. "You look hurt," I said. "Do you need help?" He took the water and drank like he hadn't had any in days. When he was done, he looked at me for a long time and whispered, "You smell like someone who's lost a lot, but still gives." I didn't know what he meant, but my eyes filled with tears. I called a shelter I knew. They said they'd send someone soon. I stayed with him, wiped his face, gave him my shawl. I told him he mattered. I told him he wasn't invisible. When the shelter van arrived and took him away, I finally looked at the time again, and my heart dropped. I was 1 hour late. My hands were shaking. 1 hour late. I couldn't believe it. I had worked so hard to get ready. Got up early. Took the bus. I made sure everything was perfect. And now, it was ruined. All because I stopped. All because I helped a man no one else even looked at. I started walking faster, almost running. My old shoes slapped against the pavement. Part of me wanted to cry. Another part kept whispering, "Maybe they'll understand. Maybe they'll see you tried." But deep down I knew they wouldn't. The Sterling family didn't live in the kind of world where people made excuses. They lived in a world of rules. Power. Image. Perfection. Helping a stranger on the side of the road. That wouldn't matter to them. Not one bit. Still I kept going. I held on to hope like it was the last bit of air in my lungs. As I got closer to the estate, my legs felt weak. My face was sweaty. My curls had fallen flat. I used the last tissue to dab my forehead, but I felt messy. Wrinkled. The big white gate to the Sterling house stood tall in front of me like a wall between two worlds. A guard stood at the entrance. He looked me up and down, then slowly opened the gate. I walked in. Their yard was bigger than the park near my apartment. There were trimmed hedges, fountains, and flowers that looked too perfect to be real. Everything smelled like perfume and money. Then I saw it on the porch. A long table with silver trays and glasses that sparkled in the sunlight. People in fancy clothes sat around it, sipping drinks, laughing politely. And in the middle of it all was Lily. My Lily. She looked beautiful in a soft yellow dress. Her hair was curled, her nails painted. She was smiling. But when she saw me, her smile dropped. Her eyes went wide. Her whole body stiffened. Then came the silence. Everyone turned to look at me. The laughter stopped. Martin Sterling, the father, leaned back in his chair and raised one eyebrow. His sharp suit was brighter than the sun. His cold eyes landed on my shoes first, then my hair, then my tired face. "This," he said slowly, "is the woman who raised you." No one laughed. But they didn't need to. His wife, Celeste, stood up and took a step closer. She had red lipstick, high cheekbones, and a white dress that probably cost more than my rent for a year. She stared at me like I had tracked mud into her palace. "She smells like bleach," she said. "Does she clean houses?" I opened my mouth, but no words came out. I looked at Lily. My sweet girl. The one I stayed up all night for when she had the flu. The one I pushed on swings. The one I fed even when I went hungry. She wasn't looking at me. She was looking at the table. "Lily," I whispered. She finally stood up. Her voice was low but sharp. "You're late, Mom. One thing. I asked you for one thing." Tears stung my eyes. "I'm sorry," I said. "There was a man on the road. He needed help. He was hurt. He looked like he—" "Don't," she snapped, her voice suddenly louder. "Don't do this. Not here." I felt every eye on me. My knees were shaking. My throat was tight. "Just go," Lily said. "Please." I wanted to speak. I wanted to explain. But there was nothing else to say. They had already made up their minds. I turned around. I didn't even know where I was walking. My eyes were full of tears. The grass beneath my feet felt like it was swallowing me whole. I had never felt so small, so ashamed, so unwanted. As I reached the driveway, I stopped to catch my breath. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it might break. That's when I heard it. Soft hum. An engine. I looked up. And there, pulling into the long driveway, was a black car. Sleek, shiny, expensive car. The kind you only see in movies. Kind only billionaires drive. Stopped just a few feet from me. The driver got out and opened the back door. And then, he stepped out. The man from the road. The one I had helped. Only now, he wasn't wearing dirty clothes. He wasn't bleeding. He wasn't shaking. He was clean. And dressed in a dark blue suit that fit him perfectly. He looked taller. Stronger. His eyes weren't full of pain anymore. They were full of something else. Power. People from the brunch were starting to notice. Voices behind me whispered. Who is that? Is that Ezra Langford? No. It can't be, can it? The man smiled when he saw me. Mrs. Hughes, he said. Fancy seeing you here. I couldn't move. My mouth opened but no words came out. I never got to thank you, he said, walking closer. You saved me. I didn't do anything, I stammered. You did more than you know. He looked over my shoulder at the group of people on the porch. Some were standing. Some looked confused. Some looked afraid. Then he looked back at me. You have no idea who they are, he said quietly. But I do. And they're about to find out who you are, too. He nodded once to his driver, then got back into the car. And just like that, he was gone. I stood there, frozen. My heart felt like it had stopped. I was still staring at the back of that shiny black car, even after it disappeared behind the trees. Did that just happen? Was that really him? The man from the side of the road. The man I gave water to. Wiped blood from. Called the shelter for? How could someone go from sitting in the dirt with no shoes to stepping out of a luxury car like a king? I didn't understand. None of it made sense. But deep in my chest something shifted. Oh. For the first time that day I felt it again. Not because of the money. Not because of the car. But because for once, someone saw me. Someone remembered what I did. I wasn't invisible anymore. I turned back toward the Sterling mansion. People were still standing near the table. Some of them were whispering. Lily was gone. I didn't know if she had run inside or just disappeared. I didn't care. I had seen enough. I started walking down the driveway, slower this time. Not because I was tired, but because I wasn't going to let them chase me out like some dog. I wasn't proud of what happened, but I wasn't ashamed either. I did the right thing. I helped someone in need. And somehow, that man I helped knew them. I couldn't stop thinking about it. Who was he really? And what did he mean when he said, "They're about to find out who you are"? That night I couldn't sleep. I lay on my old mattress, listening to the sound of a dripping tap in the kitchen. My hands still smelled like hospital soap. I kept hearing his voice over and over. You saved me. My phone buzzed beside me. A message from Lily. Don't tell anyone about what happened today. Just leave it alone. No, sorry. No, I miss you. Just instructions like I was her maid again. I didn't reply. 3 days passed. Then 4. And then something strange happened. On the 5th day I came home from work, and there was a letter taped to my front door. No envelope. Just folded paper with my name written neatly on the front. Clara Hughes. I looked around. No one in sight. Opened it. You didn't walk past me. You didn't laugh at me. You knelt down, looked me in the eyes, and gave me your only bottle of water. That moment meant more than you will ever know. I want to repay you, not with money but with justice. Watch closely. Ezra Langford. My knees almost gave out. Ezra Langford. The name was big. I remembered hearing it on the news a few years ago. He was some genius tech man. Young. Rich. Built companies from nothing. Then he just disappeared. Some said he had a breakdown. Others said his own family betrayed him. Nobody knew the truth. But now, I had met him, helped him. And he wasn't gone. He was back. The next week was like a dream, but not a good one. Strange one. A loud, spinning one where everything started to fall apart, for the Sterlings. First, the news broke that one of their companies had been sued for lying to investors. People lost millions. Then 2 days later photos leaked online. Real ones. Of Martin Sterling at secret parties with illegal deals happening in the background. Celeste tried to deny everything, but reporters started camping outside their house. Banks began freezing their accounts. One by one, the businesses they owned started shutting down. Lily stopped posting on social media. The Sterling name was turning to ash. And fast. I sat on my little sofa every night, watching it all unfold. I didn't cheer. I didn't dance. But I did feel something warm in my chest. Justice. And it didn't stop there. One afternoon a letter arrived. Not an email. Not a text. A thick, golden envelope with wax on the back. Inside was an invitation. You are cordially invited to the Langford Foundation's Grand Charity Gala. Hosted by Mr. Ezra Langford. Location: Langford Estate Ballroom. Dress code: elegant. At the bottom, in bold, was written, VIP access. Clara Hughes. I nearly dropped it. Me. I didn't own anything elegant. But I had something better, a quiet kind of strength now. One that came from being seen. I borrowed a soft blue dress from a kind neighbor. She even helped me curl my hair. I put on my mother's old pearl earrings, the only thing I had left of her. I looked at myself in the mirror, took a deep breath and whispered, "This time you walk in proud." The ballroom was made of gold. Not real gold maybe, but that's what it looked like. Tall ceilings, glittering lights, soft music, beautiful gowns and suits everywhere. And in the center of it all, Ezra. He was speaking to a crowd, his voice calm and strong. "I was once lost," he said, "and in that moment a woman showed me kindness when no one else would. She didn't know who I was. She didn't ask for anything. And that's why she's here tonight. Because kindness deserves to be honored." Then he looked right at me. "Mrs. Clara Hughes," he said, raising a glass. "Thank you." People turned. Some clapped. Some looked confused. I stood still, tears in my eyes. Then, out of the corner of the room, I saw them. Martin, Celeste, and Lily. They weren't dressed up. They looked tired. Older. They hadn't been invited. They were standing in the back, near the exit, watching everything fall into place. I didn't wave. I didn't smile. I just stood taller. They stood in the back of the ballroom like strangers. Martin, Celeste, Lily. No lights shined on them. No one offered them a drink. No one asked for a photo. They were just there. Quiet. Forgotten. It was hard to believe that just weeks ago, they were the ones sitting at long silver tables, judging people like me, looking down on everyone. Now they were the ones on the outside. I stayed where I was, right near the front, pearls around my neck, people around me smiling like I mattered. 'Cause now, I did. Not because of money. Not because of fame. But because I showed kindness when no one else would. And the right person remembered. Later that night, Ezra came to find me. He looked calm as always, but his eyes were sharper than ever. "I wanted to thank you again," he said. "But I also wanted to tell you something about them." He nodded toward the Sterlings. I followed his gaze. They hadn't left. They were still standing near the doors, whispering to each other like they were planning something. Ezra took a deep breath. "Years ago," he began, "I trusted the wrong people. People who smiled at me in public and stabbed me in private. People who didn't want me to run my own company." He paused. "People like Martin Sterling." Gasp. "Martin. What did he do?" Ezra's face grew hard. "He and a few others convinced the board I was unstable. They spread lies. Said I was dangerous. Said I wasn't fit to lead." He looked down at his hands. "They took everything. Name, my seat, my legacy. They tried to hide me away in a private hospital, for good." My heart hurt. "That's awful." Ezra nodded. "But I escaped, disappeared. And I promised myself, if I ever came back, I'd rebuild what I lost. And I'd find someone with a heart strong enough to help me do it." He looked at me again. "And I found you." I didn't know what to say. My eyes were full of tears. I had never been anyone's hero before. But why all this? Asked. The party. The cameras. The fall of the Sterlings. Ezra smiled slowly. Because they built their empire on lies. And I wanted the world to see the truth. He pulled something from his pocket. A tiny silver flash drive. This, he said, has everything. Proof of what they did. Me. To their employees. To the government. I gave it to the authorities this morning. Tomorrow it'll be on every news channel in the country. Covered my mouth. They're done, Clara. For good. I don't know how long I stood there. Everything I'd ever lost. Every insult. Every time someone looked through me like I didn't matter. It all came rushing back. But this time it didn't hurt. It healed. Ezra placed a hand on my shoulder. You're not just a kind woman, Clara, he said. You're the kind of woman who reminds others what kindness looks like. He left soon after. But the feeling stayed. An hour later, I was heading out of the ballroom when I heard someone call my name. Mom! Turned. Lily. Her face was red. Puffy. Her yellow dress looked wrinkled now. Her hair messy like she'd been running or crying, or both. Mom, please wait. Stop. But I didn't smile. She rushed toward me and grabbed my hands. I'm sorry, she said, crying. I didn't know. I didn't understand. Damien left me. He said his parents are toxic. He doesn't want to be dragged down with them. I didn't say anything. He left Mom, she sobbed. And now, I don't have anyone. I looked at her carefully. My daughter. My blood. But she wasn't the same girl I raised. Not anymore. You had someone, I said quietly. You had me. I know, she whispered, shaking her head. And I was so stupid. I let them change me. Forgot who I was. Please, can we just go back? I sighed. I wanted to say yes. I wanted to wrap my arms around her and tell her everything would be okay. But I couldn't forget what she said to me that day on the porch. Leave, Mom. You've done enough. I had done enough. More than enough. So I looked at her and said, softly but clearly, Sweetheart, I was never late. I was just busy saving someone who actually mattered. Her face crumpled. Her hands dropped. And I walked away. The next morning my face was on the news. Unlikely hero helps reclusive billionaire return to power. Ezra Langford credits cleaning woman for his comeback. Justice served. Sterling family under federal investigation. People started treating me differently. Strangers smiled. News vans parked outside my building. Reporters wanted to talk. I didn't say much. I didn't need to. I didn't want fame. I just wanted peace. And I got it. Ezra gave me a position at the Langford Foundation. I now help run programs for the homeless, the forgotten, the invisible, people like him that day sitting on the roadside. People like me too. Sometimes I walk past the spot where I first saw him. I remember the dirt, the blood, the pain in his eyes. And I smile. Because that moment, when I stopped and knelt beside a stranger, changed everything. I didn't know I was being tested. I didn't know my kindness would shake the ground beneath the feet of the rich and cruel. But now I do. Kindness is powerful. Stronger than money. Stronger than pride. Stronger than the lies people tell to keep others small. And sometimes, kindness is the thing that brings the mighty crashing down. What are your thoughts about this story? Let me know where you are watching from.